Anyway, one of the goals of this show is to highlight the amazing people, like Josh, and events that happen in the esports and competitive gaming space. Every week on this segment, IRL Esports, we'll try to feature a different personality in the scene. And this time we have a live in-person interview with somebody
that isn't Josh.
Yeah, that isn't Josh, and we've actually interviewed before.
Yes!
So joining us all the way from sunny California, we have a host who's been a part of the esports scene now for a long time, casting games such as StarCraft 2 and Rocket League to audiences all around the world. Let's welcome Alex Rodriguez, a.k.a. Axeltoss, to the show.
Yeah, Alex!
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
You
guys are doing a great job. I learned a lot today about what happened this week in esports. Go figure, which is really cool.
Well, thank God we named it that.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Great idea.
Thank you.
It's right there.
Right there, just in case you forget. Now, the prompter says, "Who are you, Alex?" But really, you're wearing a Rocket League Championship sweatshirt, well placed, very well branded. But you are have been all over the esports scene. Give our viewers just a little bit of
TLDR.
That's right, TLDR, the F out of S.
A little bit of history. I played a lot of video games growing up. And
that's
I really enjoyed the video games. And
the video games, that's how it's pronounced.
And as you know, while I was growing up, I figured, you know what, I want to keep doing that. And I feel like maybe you guys are in a similar boat, perhaps.
I mean,
so I'm like, okay, how can I bring video games into adulthood and prove to my parents that it's awesome and that we should keep doing it and people should be playing more games? Yeah. So once I saw that competitive things were happening, prize money was being given out, it all started in South Korea pretty much.
Yep.
I started watching videos on YouTube, and then StarCraft was the main game for me at the very start. RTS, real-time strategy, super complicated game that really hooked me in. There's nothing like it in the world, so that really attracted me, and the fact that it was super difficult. So immediately started studying that, and then I saw that there was the GSL in Korea, one of the most prestigious StarCraft,
still one of the most
prestigious leagues in all of esports.
Yeah.
And from there, I just started doing StarCraft stuff. Eventually went over to MLG to hang out with Linux. And,
our producer, who always yells at us.
And we worked on.
Sorry.
We worked on some stuff over there, and I ditched college to do that. Yeah. To do just StarCraft all the time at MLG Studios in New York City. It was a ton of fun. Me and Lennox got in a lot of trouble. I'll tell you stories later.
Oh, please.
And then from there, I ended up, there's political stuff, whatever. I ended up going back and finishing my degree, just getting that done. Communication journalism.
Stay in school, kids. That's important.
And then I worked on a StarCraft reality show with Polton Violet, and we ended. Machinima was interested in that, so then I went over to Machinima and then started doing an esports show for them. Mildly similar to this. It was more of a daily thing, and it was
month in
more
esports.
No, they did a freaking daily.
Yeah, it was every day. It was
40 minutes daily.
It was
Holy
a ton
cow.
of fun, and it was like every game. And we had an awesome team. Just like we had a wizard in Counter-Strike, we had a guy who was Amazing League of Legends, and I was more of a StarCraft guy. And then while I was doing that, Rocket League kind of came out and
blew up
right when I saw Rocket League, and I soccer with cars, right? And like, if you're evaluating the video game landscape and esports especially, you're like, okay, what games are you attracted to? Which are going to grow? And the moment I saw that game, pretty soon after it came out, I started playing. I'm like, I love this. And I played soccer growing up, so it's very, very simple, intuitive game. And if like, that's one of the best things about Rocket League is that it's so easy to watch and understand what's going on. It's two cars and a ball. You're trying to score a goal. You're trying to score more goals than your opponents. The thing is, though, it's a very like four-dimensional game where you're flying up in the air. It's ridiculous.
Boost you've got. You can go up. Down.
The skill ceiling, right, is so incredibly high, and that we don't even know what level these pros are going to be at. But that's what really draws me to a lot of the titles that I've worked on personally. Is just difficulty. I want to be challenged, and StarCraft was that for me. Rocket League very much that for me as well.
It's that old adage, sort of like easy to pick up, hard to master.
Exactly, and I absolutely love that. And it's just fun to just dive into the depth and just try to improve. And I think Rocket League, there's a very tangible feeling of improvement as you get better. When you first start,
not me.
Right? No, I mean, when you first start, it's the most difficult thing ever. It's the same with StarCraft. But as you play more, there's a tangible feeling that you're getting better, and I really love that. I really love that feeling when you're playing a game. And you're like, okay, I'm getting better, and then you're doing things that you're watching on the screen, or you're doing things that you're seeing other people do when you're playing in ranked. And the moment you do that, you're like, oh my god, I guess I'm better at this game. And that immediately drew me in. And then I got the opportunity. Golden Boy actually approached me. He's very popular in the esports space, and he's like, hey man, we're looking for a host for Rocket League. And I was situated in LA, Burbank area at the time. I know you mentioned earlier you want to check out Overwatch League. Let me know if y'all come to Burbank.
I've been there twice now, and it's between season or stage 1 and 2, between 2 and 3.
All right. It's pretty cool. You got to make it happen. But anyway, I was in Burbank, and RLCS ended up being closer to where I lived than Machinima was. So I ended up doing both at the same time. And then from there, it's just RLCS. And I've been involved since season 1, and now we're in season 5. It's been amazing seeing the growth of this game, and especially personally for me, just being a part of it.
Yeah.
Season 1, our finals were in LA. Then we went to Amsterdam in season 2 for the season 2 finals. Then we went back to LA for the season 3 finals. And then we got sponsored by the MGM. You might have heard of them from Vegas.
Yeah, I think they're a small Vegas mom and pop.
And they built a massive venue in Washington, D.C. So our season 4 finals were actually in Washington, D.C. at the MGM that's there. And that was so incredible, monumental, you might even suggest. And that was so fun. And now we are in the midst of season 5. And I've been hosting the analyst desk, basically. We have a great team of people, commentators, working on the game on camera. I host the analyst desk and serve it up to those commentators, do a great job. So it's all on twitch.tv/Rocket League if anyone wants to check it out. And right now, it's a great moment because we just finished our league play for season 5. And the whole purpose of league play is to find out the best teams who will be advancing to the World Championships. So our World Championships are actually in London, England.
Oh, yeah.
June 8th, 9th, and 10th. So coming up very quickly. It's a couple of weeks from now. So June 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Where's it at, Kate?
Jolly old England.
Well, that was well done.
I could never resist the chance to get her to say that.
I won't break mine out.
Thank you.
Not right now.
Maybe next show.
Maybe next show.
You know,
yes.
get
But it's incredibly exciting because the venue announcement being in London, we just had 2 World Championships in North America.
Yeah.
So Europe has really been looking for an opportunity to be involved with RLCS and hang out. And we're going to London, and it's a great opportunity for anyone in Europe to go and check it out. It's at the Copper Box, again, June 8th, 9th, and 10th. And right now, we just finished league play, so we know all 10 teams involved.
Nice.
We have 4 teams from North America, 4 teams from Europe, and 2 teams from the OCE region. So that's all going to culminate. Double elimination bracket, $250,000 on the line, $100,000 for first place.
Shoot.
Meanwhile, in Rocket League, there's more and more people playing. There's more and more people watching. Psyonix is doing a great job with the game. Constant improvement all around, especially how the esports production is linked together with the game development. I think that's a very tricky balance to hit.
Huge, yeah.
And I think Psyonix is doing a great job with that. So it's been a ton of fun seeing more and more people get involved, and there couldn't be a better time to pick up a controller and actually start playing. I know you mentioned, mouse keyboard can be tough. Rocket League, you can play with a controller on PC is pretty much the main way people go. I personally use a PlayStation controller. And then, you talk about the future, like different regions, eventually when the China market comes into place, it was already announced, I think last year, that Tencent is helping out Rocket League with Psyonix with publishing efforts in China for Rocket League. So that's Tencent involved. So waiting to see what happens with that. And then once China gets involved in Rocket League, that's another one of those questions. Like, okay, what's going to happen there? Are we going to see more mouse?
Do you notice both of us are like, okay.
Yeah.
And
then you guys were also talking a lot about the South America scene with Rainbow Six champions there, Liquid, very Brazil represented. We see a lot of Brazil in Counter-Strike. I'm personally wondering when Latin America will get more into Rocket League. So that's another region I'm looking out for. So just a ton of fun to be involved. And thanks for having me, guys. And I'm super excited for the World Championship.
Well, and I'm going to go a little off script here because we've had a bunch of questions for you. But we had also talked about the reason I actually saw Alex last night. Where did I see you, Alex? A new venture for you.
So I was able to come to Seattle to help out with Forza. They had a need for someone to help out on the desk. And
for the Forza Racing Championship, they have 2 races, or had, I should say, in their regular season, 2 races on Wednesdays.
Basically, there's 2 series and then a world final at the end of the year. And right now, it's the end of Series 1, and we just found out 50 drivers, I should say, in Forza that will be coming out to Seattle in a couple weeks' time to compete in the playoffs for Series 1. So I was doing a little bit of work on that, jumping in and actually doing more play-by-play. Yeah. And, for me, the difference between hosting, being on camera and presenting a show and actually getting in the game and commentating with play-by-play, they are very different elements. And in each of those 2 elements there's so many awesome things associated with both. And for me, back in the StarCraft days, like I did a lot of, I did hosting, I also did a lot of play-by-play. It was a ton of fun. But when I got into Rocket League, more on the host side, less on the commentary side. So in Forza, I was actually able to really jump in and do some play-by-play. And racing games, the racing genre, this week in esports, the racing genre in general, I'm pretty interested in that as an esport. Like, what other racing games are out there? What are going to rise up? up. I've always kind of been a racing game fan, so it's fun for me to be involved with that. So ran into you there last night.
It's true, and it was a great. I highly recommend if you get a chance to watch any of the Forza Racing Championship. I know obviously you said you'll be there for playoffs, and you've got a whole laundry list of things happening that week. That'll be the same week as E3. You're just kind of busy.
Yeah.
But it was an incredible show. Really well done. You've got 2 other casters on the desk with you, or analysts, I should say. You got John from I don't actually know. John, he's got an encyclopedic knowledge because he's been a driver
He's actually
himself.
a commentator in the actual racing scene around the world. He's been involved with that. And then we had Ali came all the way over from the Netherlands, and he's actually traveling right now, getting content from the players who are involved with the playoffs. So making some content for that. So just a really cool group of people overall over there. So
man, you have a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
Obviously, this is something we had talked about last night, but I'm curious, and I'm just taking over, apparently.
No, go ahead. Do you think? No, please.
Sorry, Rukari. But here's the question, and there he goes. But here's the question, and we ask it all the time, which is, why do you, when people ask you what you do, when people ask you why you do it, what is the answer?
Yeah, it's honestly one of my favorite questions to answer because, there's a lot about what we're all doing too. And you guys, I'm sure, can absolutely relate to this. And anyone in this room, Lennox back there, you're always talking to people, okay, we're doing something pretty interesting that's on the up and up. And it's funny because maybe you'll get messages from family here and there. It's like, I got a message from my aunt. She's like, have you heard of Fortnite? And I think she spelled it wrong or something like that.
Sounds
I'm like,
about right.
do you mean this? I'm like, yeah. And there's a lot of passion and genuinity that is involved with the space. And for me, as a guy who's been involved for going on 8 years, maybe more than that, seems like my entire life. It's a ton of fun to share my love and my passion for everything that's happening in the space. And I think at the core of it, one of the first things I try to explain is that it's all about fun and fun. Competition, the competition side, I love it. I'm a very competitive person, but I think at the end of the day, it is fun. It's video games,
Yeah.
We're hanging out, having fun, and sure, we're able to play for some money. We're blessed in that sense. We're at this point, we're able to do that.
That's true.
So just thinking about that in general, and then in the meantime, there's so many amazing storylines in esports. Like one of my favorite ones, Counter-Strike team, right? There's a team with 3 Russian players and 2 Ukrainian players.
Oh my God, yeah.
And you talk about all the strife and stuff happening in the world, and it's like, here we are, these guys from countries that are at odds and whatnot, coming together, they're on a team. They're not necessarily, they're thinking about it, but at the end of the day, they're teammates, they're friends. And that's a great representation for their families and maybe even their countries. And, beyond that, international borders that we're connecting with video games, and there's nothing like it. Like we all 3 have vastly different backgrounds, right? But at the end of the day, we're here, we're having fun, we're playing video games, and again, especially with just all the other stuff happening in the world and whatnot, we might care about it at the same time. To me, that drives me even more. Just the fact that we're connecting people at an international level, and it's a ton of fun. And there's a lot of storylines that come from there. So I love answering that question, and it's fun for people that don't necessarily know about it. They're like, wait, video games? Isn't that what kids do? It's like, no, it's actually a really awesome opportunity.
We're not in our parents' basement. We're not 17-year-olds.
Yeah, totally.
I mean...
I love the question, and I love answering it, and always happy to talk to people about it who come and ask me about it too.
All right, so besides at all the events, who are you? Where can people find you online? How can they connect with you?
Cool. Honestly, my handle's Axeltoss, AXELTOSS, so you can just Google that, and it'll probably pull up any information that you're interested in, whether it's Twitter, do some streaming here and there. Actually, earlier this year, I organized my own Rocket League tournament, which is pretty fun. Brought in a sponsor and organized that out on my own, so look out for stuff like that. And then, that's probably the best way. Just probably Twitter, just Google my handle, and that's the best way to keep up with what I'm up to.
All right, perfect.
Rad.
Well, thank you so much
Alex,
for joining us.
thank you so much for joining us. Have a...
Oh, well, that one? Which one?
Can we do a GIF here? Can we?
No, I'll do it again.
Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it? Are we gonna do it?
I'm not going to do either. All right, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Let me steal that mic, though.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure? Can I keep it?
No.
I've got one more guest to bring up here since we're
Alex. Thank you, Alex.
celebrating
Thank you to Alex for coming
Mixer's
all the way
one-year
over here.
anniversary.